Okay. So settle in there. Make yourselves comfortable and we'll prepare to have a class with some gentle movement, a little bit of restore and relax, a little meditation, lots of stretching, tiny bit of flow. We'll just get it all in there tonight for our calm class. So settle in, come to rest, either in a lying down or seated posture, allowing yourself to be relaxed, soft around the shoulders and neck, relaxing all of the facial muscles too. And you might start to notice points of contact there where your body's being held by the surface beneath you, feeling grounded, feeling held while letting go of thoughts about the past and thoughts about the future. We're just aiming here to zone into this moment, here and now. And if you'd like, you could scan the body, checking in with any sensations that you happen to find. And I'll just pause while you do that. Just note what you find, whatever it is, with loving, compassionate awareness. And when you've kind of combed through the body there for a moment or two, you can check in with the mind. How are things in there in your head tonight? Busy or quiet? And what about your emotions? Any particular tone to your emotional state? Heavy or light? Tense or joyful? Just check in with all of those. And again, not being judgmental, just checking in with acceptance for whatever is there for you. Just allow it all to be. We're noticing. Continuing to give yourself to this present moment with full permission to be here as you are. And we'll use this time now and in our class to give ourselves some positive energy, to tap into those resources that we have, reset. Now let's check in, move our attention to our breath, our breathing. You might notice the breath at your nostrils, noticing the cool air entering, the warm air going out. Maybe down at your belly, feeling it rise and fall with your inhalations and your exhalations. So for the next few moments, rest your awareness on the breath, bringing that kind and gentle attention to those sensations of your breath. Each breath can be different. Most likely it is. So just be curious about your breathing. Notice any nuances of the breath, that slow beginning of the inhale, the building of the inhalation, that slight fading just before that short pause at the top of your inhale. And then the slow building of the exhale and the fading again. Noticing the movement of the body that's associated with your breathing. Movement of the torso, rising and falling. We'll try to trust in the breath. Just let it be our guide tonight. Allow ourselves to be guided by our breath. And when the mind tends to wander to thoughts, that's what minds do. Just come back to the breath. Just resting in awareness of those sensations associated with your breath. And some days the mind wants to wander off more than others. Always kindly, without judgment, returning to the breath. It's not really feeling as if you're pushing your thoughts away, just noticing them and then letting them go and drawing yourself back to that awareness of your breath. If there's anything you can release with your exhales, just let whatever you can go. Anything that might be a little heavy, try to release that. And just before we begin to move, you might want to connect with an intention, a phrase or a word or a mantra, something that you might come back to during your practice and beyond. Maybe just a gentle reminder to yourself of a way that you'd like to show up in the world or an emotion that you would like to cultivate more of. And then we'll begin our gentle movement from a lying down posture. Take a big stretch. So reaching the arms overhead, pointing the toes, stretching the legs and the feet in the opposite direction. Maybe you're rotating through the wrists and the ankles here. Breathing in to really lengthen, and maybe as you exhale, releasing. Maybe doing that once or twice more. And then we'll bring the hands to the right shin, bend the right knee, draw the right knee in. As the left leg is long, you might find a little bit more movement there in that right ankle. And we'll just engage the biceps a little bit here. So we are a bit active in the arms here. Getting into that right hip flexor. Let's place the right hand on the right knee and just draw the knee out to the right. Either just resting, having the arm support the leg, drawing it out a little bit, or you can find a little bit of movement, just maybe moving that knee back and forth, up and down a little bit. It feels best. Bring the knee back to center, hold it in for one more squeeze, one more breath. And then send the right leg long and we'll bend the left knee. Same thing on this side. Draw the knee in, out and up towards that armpit and shoulder. Find some movement in the ankle on the left. Hold it in nice and snugly for one more breath. And then we'll bring the ankle to stillness and take the left hand to the left knee, draw that knee out to the side. Sometimes it's useful to place that opposite hand, so in this case, the right hand on top of that right hip, just to anchor down or stretch your right arm out as a counterweight. And we'll bring the knee back to center. Let's bring the right knee in to match the left. I'm going to place a hand on each knee and we'll draw some circles. So we're giving a nice massage to that lower back, around the sacral area. Alternatively, if you'd like to rock side to side, you can do that. Just wrapping the arms around the shins and rock side to side. Just some gentle movement here, being sure to go in both directions. So if you're circling, you can change directions now. All right, let's take the feet and send them up towards the sky, but keep a bend in the knees. And then just start kind of an egg beater kick here, as if you were underwater, treading water, going in one direction to start, or I guess feet are going in opposite directions. So moving them maybe towards each other, and then reversing when you're ready, taking the circles in the opposite direction. Make the ankles, get the ankles into it as well. So hips, knees, and ankles. Getting that synovial fluid working for us. And we'll find some stillness here. Send the soles of the feet up towards the sky. And you may or may not have your knees bent here. Either version is fine. Just kind of try to reach those heels up towards the sky as you draw the toes towards the shins. Get a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. At the same time as we're doing that, we're actually really keeping our tailbone reaching towards the top of our mat. So rather than lifting the hips up, I'm going to keep that lower sacral area grounded, anchored down. Let's release the left leg long, and it can hover or it can rest. It's up to you. A little more active if you want to keep it hovering. If you want to keep it a bit more relaxed, just let that left leg come down. And we'll use the right hands to draw the right leg towards the torso a little bit, finding a bit more length in that right hamstring. If you want to, you can point and flex the toe, or you can have the ankle just be still. Maybe find some stillness there in the ankle and draw the leg in just a little bit more, 2 more breaths. Once you draw that thigh a little closer to the belly. And before we release and do the other side, just raise your head, neck, and shoulders. Reach your hands on either side of that right leg and just take a few pulses here. Maybe you want to do 5 or 6. For the abs. And then we'll rest the upper body down and switch the legs. So left leg comes up, right leg comes down, either to hover or to rest. And you can just support with the hands behind the calf or behind the thigh, maybe pointing and flexing that left foot a few times. And then find some stillness in the ankle for a couple more breaths here as you draw that leg in a little bit closer. And then we'll raise the head, neck, and shoulders, reach the arms on either side of that left leg, and then find some pulses here. Slow and controlled. A couple more. And then we'll bring both feet to the mat. Let's walk them with the knees bent. We'll walk the feet to either side of the mat. Bring the arms to a cactus position, and then just float the knees from side to side. Maybe working with the breath here, inhaling up and exhaling to one side, inhaling back up and exhaling to the other. And then let's hold the knees over to the right and just let them relax there. You can hook right ankle over the upper left knee. Finding a gentle twist here. This one might be nice for that lower back. And we'll aim to keep our shoulder blades anchored down, chest is facing up. We'll unwind, find that same stretch on the left side, allowing the knees to just melt over there, and then maybe finding that little bit extra if you want to hook the left ankle over the right thigh or knee. And it's fine not to. You might feel enough sensation without doing that. Just slowly unwinding back to center when you're ready. Keep the knees bent and bring the heels a little bit closer to the hips, so about hip distance apart, so not quite as wide. And then we'll bring the arms down long at the sides. We'll come into a few rolling bridges here, and we'll hold, and then we'll take a nice restorative bridge pose. So on your inhale, raise the hips up, sort of peel your spine. Maybe the arms arc overhead. Backs of the hands might tap the earth behind you. And then on your exhale, just slowly arcing the arms back as you lower the spine, eventually the sacrum to the earth. And just do about 3 more of those. Nice and slowly with full breaths. Last one. And whenever you're ready for our next one, we'll hold. So we'll press the soles of the feet into the mat, press the palms down, backs of the arms, lift the hips. If you want to, you can walk the hands a little closer as you bring the shoulder blades a little closer together, maybe clasping the hands, raising the hips a little higher. 2 more breaths. Softening out of the pose gently. And then we'll reach out, find that block or your bolster, or maybe a combination of both. Just choosing what height you'd like to be at for your supported bridge. We'll slide the block or the block and the bolster, or whatever combination you have, whatever height you choose. Just finding that sweet spot, somewhere where you can be resting here for about a minute. So 8 breaths or so. Listening to your breath, maybe engaging your ujjayi breathing, that constriction there at the back of your throat, just slightly narrowing the passageway so you have an audible breath. Maybe recalling your intention. Time for another nice big breath. And just press into the feet just enough to lift the hips, to slide your prop out from underneath. We'll bring the knees into the chest. Maybe finding a little rock here. Just squeeze and hug the knees in. Knees can be close together, or you can place a hand on each knee or shin and draw them out a little bit. Rock, kind of like a half happy baby, or sort of a not quite full, a modified happy baby. Going to come up gently, You can rock if you like, or just press your way up. We're going to come up to a high kneeling position. So if you have a blanket you want to kneel on, or double fold your mat, whatever you like. You get here, we'll find a side stretch. So let's lean over to the right first. So slide your right hand down your outer thigh, reach the left arm up and over. Take some nice deep breaths in, really expanding, stretching out laterally on the left. You can look up to your elbow if you want, maybe rotating, open a little bit there through the heart. Using the strength of your core, slowly rise up. Do that on the other side. So right arm comes up, left hand slides down. You can also use a block here if you like. So if you want like your hand to come down to a block, or you can bring your hand to the waist for some extra support. Just whatever feels best. Going for a nice side stretch on the right. Engage through the core. Come on up. Now we'll take our hands and interlace them behind our backs. Open through the heart. Maybe you're about midway back on your mat, so you have enough room to come forward. Take a breath in. Press the palms together. Press the knuckles away. And as you breathe out, come forward here into rabbit pose. So maybe you tuck the toes. Top of the head might come down to the mat, forehead, and then roll onto the top of the head without putting too much pressure on the top of the head. It's a nice one for the shoulders. If you want to, you can just let those arms, hands still clasped, let those arms fall forward. Really try not to put too much pressure here on the top of your head. Take one more breath. Let's untuck the toes, bring the hips back to the heels, and find a child's pose. Kind of like an embryo pose here, with your hands reaching back to your feet if you like. You can take any version you'd like of child's pose. For our last couple of breaths, if you're not already, we'll reach the arms forward, coming into an extended child's pose. Maybe come up onto the fingertips, pressing the elbows down, pressing into the fingertips and pressing the shoulders too. Just experiment here, see where you find the best sensation, that kind of edge where you're feeling maybe opening the shoulder area. One more breath. And let's meet in a tabletop position. From here, you can take a traditional cat-cow, just getting into the spine, or you might want to move your torso in a circular motion, kind of like you're inside a barrel, or you might sort of shift forward and back, coming from tabletop to child as you work through the vertebra of the spine. So just any kind of creative movement getting into your spine here is welcome. Being sure to go in both directions if you're moving your torso in a circular motion. And we'll take one more and then meet back in a neutral tabletop position. Let's tuck our toes and we'll come up into a downward facing dog. You might want to just take some big knee bends here. So pressing the as you bend one knee and rest your torso against your thigh, the opposite heel is pressing to the back of your mat. And then you might find that gives you a nice opening in the fascia, the toes, the bottoms of the feet too. Really slow it down here. Just find your own way to explore in downward dog. See what you need tonight. And then let's find stillness in our dog. Pressing the heels back, lifting the tail high, pressing into the palms, pads of the fingers, and then relaxing the head. Take a couple of breaths. And here, let's inhale and raise the right leg high. So try to keep, it doesn't need to be too high. You want to keep the hips level. Just press through that heel so you're finding strength in the pose. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, we'll step the right foot forward. Find a runner's lunge here. And then just shift back and forth a little bit. And if you have blocks, you can bring them to either side of that right foot if you like. Bring your hands to the blocks and then shifting back and forth. Just really let the hips sink heavy. Let's take another breath here. We're going to find our pyramid pose. So this is an extended pyramid pose, nice for that right hamstring. So lengthen the right leg. Maybe you come up on the right heel and point the toes up. The back heel may or may not be down to the ground. Mine definitely isn't. This is quite a long stance. So you might be using blocks here. And just draw that right hip back a little bit, left hip forward. And then try to just relax your torso over that long leg. Relax your head. We'll come back to our low lunge. Lower that back left knee and then bring the right knee to meet the left back to tabletop. From here, let's pivot on the right knee, send that shin out kind of like a kickstand, and we'll lengthen the left leg, finding a modified side plank, reaching the left arm up. And then reach that left arm long, so you're having an opportunity for a nice side body stretch on the left. You might want to take some big arm circles here. A couple times forward and a couple times back. And then just find stillness for another couple breaths. Or if you want to, you can come into kind of like a baby wild thing. So you can just take your kickstand a little bit wider and then sort of pivot there, press the hips up, maybe finding a little back bend, gazing back. And when you're ready, slowly, slowly return with care to your tabletop position. No rush. When you're there, take a little wag of the hips side to side. And we'll prepare to come back to our downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths there. So glide the hips up and back. And just give a little nod and a shake of your head. Find stillness, breathe in. Let's raise the left heel high. Level the hips. Really reach through that back heel though. Find strength in your left leg. Breathe in. Exhale, step the left foot forward, staying high on that right knee and then shifting back and forth, either using blocks or coming up on fingertips or palms to the earth. Just find what works best for you here. Let the hips sink low. Another breath, and we'll prepare to come into that extended pyramid. So either with your blocks or without, just lengthen that left leg. Press back through that right heel. It doesn't need to come to the earth, and lift the left toes. You don't need to do this actually with the left toes lifted. If it feels uncomfortable in the back of that left heel, then just ground down through the left foot, and then you'll come a little bit higher on the right heel. Draw the right hip forward, left hip back. And let your torso just melt forward, let your head be heavy. Another deep breath. We'll come forward to low lunge, ground that right knee. We'll take the left knee back, tabletop position. And then we'll find our kickstand here on the left. So pivot on your left knee, bring your left shin out, and then find your modified side plank. Reach the right arm high, support with that left arm. Then you can reach that right arm long, feel a nice side body stretch. Finding some circles if you like, a couple forward and a couple back, getting into the shoulder. And you can hold here if you want to, just make that kickstand a little bit more exaggerated. Kind of pivot onto the heel of your right foot and reach back, finding I'm making up the name baby back, baby whelping. Kind of feels like that. Opening through the heart, finding the back bend. And just ever so gently and slowly, just make your way back to tabletop. Take a little wag of the hips. We'll return briefly to our downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, hips go high. 2 breaths. And with some tiny footsteps, let's just walk forward here on the toes, bringing the feet towards the hands. And you can have a bend in the knees, find your ragdoll. Find a comfortable stance. What works for me is to have the feet about hip distance apart. See what feels good for you, and then maybe sway. I just find that gives me a nice stable grounding stance if I want to move and sway back and forth. And I'm always saying it, but I'm just reminding myself too, let the head be heavy. Nice long spine. Finding a little more length in the hamstrings. And then let's come to stillness. Find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine, gaze forward. Breathe out, fold. Inhale, let's rise, come all the way to stand. Just unwinding slowly, bringing the arms high. And exhale the hands to the heart. We'll just release the hands to the side. Find a mountain pose. Active enough, but you can remain a little passive here too. We'll work into the neck here from a standing posture. So Let your gaze just drop down towards your chest, your navel. Maybe your hands interlace and you want a little bit more, you can place the hands behind the skull, lengthening that upper spine. And just let the hands come to the sides and find some semicircle neck rolls or full circles. And then I can already tell that I'm going to need to linger in certain areas. That's some sticky spots there. So just listen to your body, take it nice and slowly, lingering where you need. Couple more breaths. And then let's bring the gaze back to neutral. Just take some big holds with your shoulders. Up, circle back or forward. We'll go both directions. Big breaths in, out. Changing directions. One more. Okay, so great. Come back to the top of our mats. If you're not already there, breathe in, reach high. Breathe out, forward fold. Halfway lengthen, inhale. Fold as you breathe out. Place your palms to the earth. Step back to a plank. You might want to come to your knees. We're going to take 2 breaths, either in tall plank or from your knees. So engage your core. Keep the hips in a nice line with the shoulders, the head. Breath in, and then on your out breath, just lower down nice and slowly all the way to the belly. Untucking the toes. Let's find Sphinx posture here. So elbows beneath the shoulders, palms down, maybe even gripping the floor a little bit with finger pads, drawing the heart forward as you want to pull the chest between the shoulder blades forward. You want to press that pubic bone into the mat too, so we're not overextending or like compressing too much in that lower back. Take another breath in. Then release down. Bring your chest to the earth. Bring your palms just below your shoulders to either side of the chest. We'll press up here to a cobra. Any version of cobra that feels right. We'll do a couple. Again, pressing down through the pubic bone and reaching through the crown. Another breath in. And then release. This time when we come to cobra, let's come up onto our fingertips, elbows high. And then press up, roll up. Take one more breath. And we're going to dip the left shoulder down, looking over the right shoulder. So you feel this hopefully in the front of the right shoulder area, the left shoulder area, sorry. Press back up. Slowly take this to the other side, dipping the right shoulder down, looking over your left. Back to center. One more breath in. And breathe out, release down to the earth. Going to tuck the toes, come back to our tabletop briefly on our way to downward facing dog. And we'll move through a complete sun salutation here. So let's look forward to the hands, make our way forward to the top of the mat. Breathe in, lift halfway. Breathe out, forward fold. As you inhale, slowly unwind, rising up to tall mountain. Arms reach up. Let's exhale, bring the arms to cactus, open through the heart space. Inhale, reach high. And on your exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your plank, your version. Tall plank from the knees. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower down, either halfway or right to the belly. Press up with your next inhale to your back bend. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths. Walk the feet forward to the hands. Halfway lift, lengthen, inhale. Fold, breathe out. And inhale, unwind to stand. Arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. So we'll make use, you don't have to have it, but if you have it nearby, it's just an option for a prop. We're going to come into eagle. If you have a block nearby, I'm just going to place mine first of all to the left. So just beside my left foot, because we'll begin by crossing the right knee over the left. So it's there if you need it. If you don't need it, that's fine too. It's nice for a calm class, not to, just to take it easy. So let's sink to chair first of all. Breathe in, raise the arms, sink the hips. And then when you're ready, transfer weight to that left foot. We ground down. When you're ready, you can cross that right knee over the left, either using your block or not. Setting the toes down. And then we'll find the eagle arm. So bend your right elbow and that left arm will come underneath, and then palms can meet or backs of hands. Try to keep the elbows high, gaze through that eye of the needle there between your forearms. Take 2 more nice deep breaths. Unwinding slowly, arms first and then the legs, and then just take a little shake, a little kick there. And you can, if you're using your block, you can shift it to the outside of the right foot. Find our chair again. So with the in-breath, bend the knees, sweep the arms up. Find a nice sturdy chair position. And then when you're ready, transfer weight to that right foot, ground down, left knee crosses over the right. And then left elbow bends, right arm will sweep underneath. Find those eagle arms to match. 2 full breaths from here. Elbows lift high. Winding when you're ready, just slowly with control. And just take a little kick. Find Malasana next. And you might want your block underneath your tailbone. So just heel toe the feet out a little bit. Toes are a little wider than heels. And then we'll just sink down. When you're ready, bring the hands to prayer. Elbows can just rest on the inside of the knees, or they don't have to. Rest on top of the knees. Close your eyes and you can be still. Shift a little side to side. 2 more nice full breaths. So we're going to just ease our way down to a seat, and we'll keep the legs wide, coming into a straddle seat. So just as wide as you like. If you want to prop up with a rolled up blanket under the hips, you can do that. We're going to begin by just walking the hands forward. It doesn't need to be a great amount. Just know when you come far enough. You might use blocks under your forearms, you might put down the forearms, you might just bend the elbows a little, or you might just walk the hands forward, keep the hands, the arms straight. So we'll try to keep our toes pointing up. We're going to take 4 deep breaths where we end up. Find that edge, that place of perfect resistance where you're not kind of chasing sensation, you're not, nothing's painful. Breathe. Two more breaths. And just release slowly, walk yourself back up. Have a bolster nearby. We're going to come into reclining butterfly. So you can do that with or without a bolster. You could roll up a blanket underneath your spine. So bolster or rolled up blanket will be lengthwise towards the back of your mat. Put your seat right up against it. Just lie back. When you get there, bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to be here for about a minute, so 8 long, slow, deep breaths, or whatever, just about 8, maybe 10. Arms can rest, palms up at your sides. They can reach overhead a little bit. Maybe they're in cactus position. Maybe you want the added weight of your hands on your legs to just increase that opening sensation in your thighs. Time for 2 more nice big breaths. To release, you can just use your hands to guide the knees up together. Maybe just roll over onto one side and slide your bolster out from underneath. We'll take a twist to the right, a twist to the left, and then Shavasana. So take your favorite version of supine twist. I'm just going to stack my knees and ankles, calves and thighs, and just let them fall over to the right, but you can extend your right leg, bend your left knee, and roll to the right. Cross at knees, roll. Take your gaze to the opposite direction of your knees. Draw that left shoulder blade down. If knees are to the right, that left shoulder blade's drawing in the opposite direction. Deep breaths here, even though we're compressing the belly area. It's useful to take some deep breaths. One more big breath. Just taking it to the other side slowly. One more big breath. Bring your gaze back to neutral. Draw the knees up and in. If there's any final pose you'd like before Shavasana, just listen to your body, give it what it needs right now, and then settle into your final resting pose when you're ready. When you're ready, settling in, give yourself the opportunity to just be here now, releasing and relaxing here in this space, in this moment, and connecting to your body, your breath. Calming your body, centering your mind, just connecting to that sense of balance and centeredness. Relax as long as you're able. You are more than welcome to remain in Shavasana homes as long as your space permits. Just end your practice as you are. If you'd like to slowly release your Shavasana, just ensure you're gentle with yourself. Just deepening the breath to begin. Some small movements. If you'd like to close seated and just easing up. We'll take a big breath here together to close. Breathing in, reaching high. Exhaling the palms to the heart. Maybe taking a moment here with the lids closed to go inward and calling your attention, or just thinking ahead to the week, or just feeling as you feel in this moment with a positive thought, and it will set you up. Thank you so much for being here to share this practice tonight. It's such a pleasure practicing with you. And I hope that your week ahead is just great and filled with